Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome and thanks for coming tonight. I get to do the thank yous. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Gifford. I'm a local attorney. Many years ago, Judge Duffy saw a need in our community, so she was able to call up myself and the two lieutenants from Hatfield Township and Montgomery Township and say, can I have a meeting? Can we talk? Can we look into setting up something to try and save lives? And from that initial meeting became DARA, Drug Addiction Resource Alliance, D.A.R.A. Saves Lives. And I can tell you, in my involvement over the many years, this program, started by Judge Duffy many years ago, has saved many, many lives. And that's why she's so passionate about it. And that's why I want to welcome everyone to our 13th D.A.R.A. event. As everyone knows, Judge Duffy's very good at getting people to step up and help out, so I want to give a lot of thank yous tonight because a lot of people stepped up and gave their time and treasure to this special organization that's to educate, help, and save lives. So I'd like to thank Scott Rowland, our wonderful videographer, Gina Myers, our incredible photographer, Roger Hammond, our website coordinator at www.darasaveslives.com. And again, that's DARA Saves, S-A-V-E-S, Lives, L-I-V-E-S.com. It's a great website, and Roger does a great job keeping it up to date with all the events and the information, so thank you, Roger. I would like to thank Man on Main Street for our refreshments tonight. I know a few people wandered over, and so did I. So thank you to Man on Main Street for the refreshments, to John Becker and the Center for Addiction and Recovery Education at St. Joe's University, and their strategic partners at Elvis and PCCD for the, is that the Narcan training and supply we had. We heard also that there have been many cases of the Narcan that was distributed previously in other forums have actually saved lives. So we've had those reports, and people have contacted us and told us how if it wasn't for the D.A.R.A. forum and receiving the Narcan, there would be another gravestone in a cemetery somewhere, and that does not exist now because these forums save lives. Please like and share our Facebook page, Drug Addiction Resource Alliance. It's important because the more times you like it and share it, the more it picks up on the internet, the more it gets out. So then when somebody in a crisis, in an event that needs help, and what do I do, and they're looking in, drug addiction, it'll pop up. It'll pop up and it'll give them a lot of important information to help them find a resource for their loved ones or their family or themselves if they're looking for help. We're also on Instagram and Twitter, but this is a little pitch. We're also looking for a new coordinator for both. So if anyone's out in the audience or anyone's listening who has that special skill or talent, please reach out to Judge Duffy or myself because we'd love to have a new coordinator for both. I'm old-fashioned. Instagram and Twitter I'm not as familiar with, but apparently it's the biggest, it's very important for the younger generation, and so we'd like to have someone who can help us with that. We're always looking for volunteers to help with signs, publicity, manning D.A.R.A. tables at community events, and much more. We want to try and reach everyone in every place of worship, civics groups, business groups, etc., because it's important. The more people we touch, the more places we reach, the more lives are saved. So, and feel free to be creative. If you have a great idea, trust me, everyone's seen the energy of Judge Duffy. Reach out to her, picture your idea, let her know something that you think may help with D.A.R.A., and it may be able to come to fruition through her energy in this program. Our email address, if you're shy and don't want to talk to anyone tonight, but you think about it later, is darasaveslives@gmail.com. Again, darasaveslives@gmail.com. Feel free to send an email. If you're quiet and you really just want to send an anonymous email with a great idea, do that, please. So, and also email us if you want to become a member or offer any services in any way, post a sign, just get involved in some way, send us an email. If you have a family member, a friend, or someone who you think can help, please do that. We also have clipboards at the DARA table to sign if you wish to be notified of future DARA events, different things that DARA is doing, meetings. If you want to post a sign, if you have something you believe can contribute to DARA, please place your name, email address, phone number, whatever you're comfortable with on those clipboards. A big thanks to Sally Kaufman for her donation of the book she authored, Wishing You Greatness, which are available at the front table. If anyone who's in attendance, by the way, this evening is a graduate or been through the treatment via DARA, please reach out to Judge Duffy. It's very important for her to know these stories. Sometimes you do an awful lot and you're real excited about everything you're doing and you know how important it is, but it's great to get feedback if anyone's been through the program or had success or felt that their lives were better or saved, or a family member's lives were better or saved for something they reached out or learned from DARA. We'd love to hear your stories. It's very important. With that being said, I'd like to introduce the founder of DARA, the woman whose energy is endless, the woman whose belief in saving lives and helping people through Drug Addiction Resource Alliance, Judge Duffy.
Thank you so much. Before I say anything, I also would like to have Pastor Wang Chae come up, because I believe that we should start our forums with all the help we can get, a little prayer, okay?
Let's pray. 하나님, 당신의 말씀은 오늘날 우리가 짐작하게 의로우며 경건하게 살아야 한다는 것을 말해줍니다.
Dear Lord, your word tells us that we should live soberly, righteously, and godly in this present world.
하나님, 저는 약물남용으로 고통받는 사람들을 하나님 앞에 나아갑니다.
God, I come to you on behalf of those who are suffering with drug abuse.
우리는 그들이 중독에서 벗어나 당신의 사랑을 알게 되고 경험하기를 바랍니다.
We ask that they break free from their addiction and come to know and experience your love.
오늘 모임을 도와주십시오.
Please help with today's meeting.
오늘 공동체를 축복하시고
Bless our community.
우리 가족을 축복하시며
Bless our families.
우리나라를 축복하여 주시옵소서.
And bless our country.
예수님 이름으로 나는 기도합니다.
In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
아멘.
Thank you so much. We're always looking for different clergy leaders to come and say an invocation for all of our DARA forums. So, I'm thrilled to have you all here. It's our first forum back. We had 2 virtual forums during COVID, and they were very well attended. But I'm so glad to see everybody in person again and make that personal contact, that human contact that's so important. So thank you for coming. And I have to say, I've always cherished living, working, and raising my 4 children who all happen to be here, and I'm really proud of that. But tonight, again, since our last forum here was so popular, I'm thrilled and proud to have this caring, the support, and the power of the North Penn community here tonight. We're all here to prove that no one has to die from addiction in our community or any community. On display right here is the powerful village mentality that together and only together we can conquer the stigma and deadly epidemic of addiction. Some of my speech was already taken by Mr. Gifford, but that's okay because I am thrilled to have a founding member here today with me, along with my 2 lieutenants in Hatfield and Montgomery Township who could not be here. But we were very frustrated that there was so much delay in getting people the life-saving help they needed. And as a local district judge, I'm in a golden opportunity position to assist them right there. And before they went back on the streets or languished in prison, we want to get them treatment right from the bench. I'm proud to have as my dearest friends and my right-hand women in DARA, Lynn Truskowski and Hope Stein, and I really want them to stand up and get some applause because they're the best. love you. They have been by my side through the beginning, and they are always there to take my call no matter what time of the day it is, and they work, and we promise, and I think we're the only people around who promise that we'll get you into a facility within 1 to 3 business days, and that's pretty unheard of in this world, so I am so grateful to these wonderful ladies. And we're very proud to say that even though we don't have an absolute number, we believe that we have gotten about 800 people into treatment since 2016 when we began. I'm thankful to all the wonderful agencies that have allowed me to tour Kensington so I could see firsthand the dynamics of addiction. And I believe that that enables me to connect even better with the defendants in my courtroom so that they really appreciate that I understand what they're going through. I'm not just sitting up there and judging them. I am understanding, empathizing, and trying to truly help them find that moment in their lives when they're ready to make the commitment to recovery. Okay. I think might be a good time. We have our representative from this area who has supported DARA for many, many years. Do you want to come up and say just a few words, Steve? No? Oh, you're good? All right. Well, thank you to Representative Steve Malagari for being here and always supporting us. And I hope tonight everyone will stay and take the Narcan training and the free Narcan itself from my wonderful alma mater, St. Joe's University, and the wonderful John Becker. All right, so I also just want to introduce a few other dignitaries. We have Mayor Neil McDevitt, who's the Mayor of North Wales Borough here today. And then I just want to thank and appreciate very much the hard work of Bob Varga, who wants to say just a few things, right? He's our head of YMCA.
Hello, my name is Bob Varga. I am the Executive Director here at our Lansdale branch of the YMCA. And I just want to say it's an honor to have partnered with DARA for the last few years here. And the work that Andrea and Hope and Lynn and Greg have done, it's just been tremendous. And it's been a great honor to be partnered with them, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody coming out today. Thank you.
All right, did I miss anybody else who may have shown up who is one of our local dignitaries? To me, you're all important. You're all dignitaries because so many of you show up for me and for DARA and for our forum so consistently, and I hope you know how much you mean to me and how I'm always praying that you stay by our sides and continue the great work that we're doing. All right, I think we're ready for a wonderful video, which I'm not even going to talk about because I think it really speaks for itself. Bob, are you going to try to put the lights down just a little bit? And this is a tribute to the incredible talent of our keynote speaker today. I know you'll enjoy it as much as I have.
Can I have just one more night so I can say goodbye? Can I hold you just one more time so you don't slip away? My life ain't what it used to be. I feel so lost inside. Just give me one more night to say goodbye. Can I tell you one more time how much you mean to me? To hear your voice and smile are now just memories. My life ain't what it used to be. I feel so lost inside. Just give me one more night to say goodbye. My life ain't what it used to be, but I won't stay lost inside. In me I feel your light. My heart will give me one more night. Love will give us one more night to say goodbye.
One More Night was written and recorded for the memory of this next speaker's son. And Tony Luke is an actor, even have background music, singer, songwriter, entrepreneur, chef, famous for Tony Luke Steaks, mentor, and recovery advocate. His passion to assist those suffering with substance abuse disorder is unrivaled, and we are truly privileged and honored to present to you Tony Luke Jr.
Thank you, Andrea. Can you hear me? Hi, everyone. I look around this room and I see the most incredible people that fight every day to save lives with no money, no budget, no help, and they never give up. And when I see that, I realize that when my son passed away, so many people helped him. So many people were there for him. But the saddest thing was he didn't know that. He didn't see it. The saddest thing he had ever said to me was, everyone would be so much better if I wasn't here. And he believed that. Because we make people that are struggling feel like a burden. We make them feel that they're being judged constantly. And I have to admit, I didn't fully understand it. When I was younger, I did meth for 9 years. And then when it almost killed me, I stopped. So in my mind, I could never understand why my son just couldn't stop. Like, that was in my head. It's like, I used every single day. And then I stopped, because what I never understood, what I didn't get until he died, was I was getting high because I liked it. Because I was having a great time. I wasn't self-medicating. And it wasn't until he died And if you are in the worst club in the world of being in the club of someone who lost a child, the pain is indescribable. So I remember one night feeling that pain, and all I wanted the pain to do was stop. Now I have 2 other children who I love. I wasn't thinking about them. I had people in my life that I knew loved me. I wasn't thinking about them. All I was thinking about was, I just want the pain to stop. And in that moment, I got it. Like, I got it. They're not doing anything to you. They just want the pain to stop. So, a friend of mine came in one day and he said to me, why don't you start playing again? Why don't you start writing music again? And I was like, I don't understand what part of I just want to die you're not getting. And he said, well, why don't I just leave the keyboard? And if you want to play it, you play it. If you don't want to play it, you don't play it. Well, I couldn't sleep because when you lose a child, you don't sleep, you pass out. Because the idea of laying in bed and cuddling up and then wanting to go to sleep just never enters your mind because your mind won't stop racing. So you get so tired that you just pass out. So I was in so much pain that I was really thinking about doing something that would have devastated everyone in my life that loved me. But I don't know what made me walk into the room with the piano. And I sat down and I cried. And I played a chord on the piano. But music didn't come out. My pain came out. I felt it coming from my soul, through my body, into my hands, onto the instrument, and the pain was screaming out of my body. And I knew that this was a sign. This was my medication. This was what was going to save me. But my writing was different. I wrote for years, trying to get a hit record, wanting to write something that people wanted to hear. Now I didn't care. I wanted to share my pain with people so they knew they weren't alone in their pain. And it didn't matter if one person heard the song or if 10 million people heard the song. Because the truth is, I only need one person. And will that song fix everything for you? No. But if it can give you 3 minutes, just 3 minutes of some type of comfort, then that's something. So what do I do from here? So I've been in music my entire life. So I went to people I knew that were in music and I said, why don't we try to start a foundation where we can use music as a therapy. Now, they were already doing music therapy, they were already doing art therapy, they were doing these things. So I didn't want to open up a recovery center. That's not my lane, that's not what I do. So I thought maybe we can try to raise money and then give whatever we could to institutions or recovery homes that are using art or music as a treatment. Because I'd want to give to everyone, but the truth is, there's 1 million people that are helping and there's only so much to go around. And I said, okay, I'll stay in my lane. I will give whatever we make to those that are doing that for recovery. Because it wasn't until I went through my pain and found a way to understand it was I able to get through it. Because, you know, I hear a lot. I've been to meetings and I'm around people that are in it. You can agree or disagree, but addiction to me is not a separate entity. Addiction is not, to me, addiction is the byproduct of trauma and mental health. That's where it comes from. We're not getting high. I hate that term. People are self-medicating because they don't want to feel the pain. So they want to be numb. And I know what it feels like to want to be numb. So for 2 years we did this, we made no money. We got publicity, but we made no money. People were calling up asking for money. We didn't have any money. After 2 years, we're just starting to raise some money. We're just starting to do it. And we do it by doing this. We do it by asking you to support the music. We do it by asking you to share the music. You don't make much money doing the streaming, but you make money doing concerts. And those concerts bring in money that gets funneled and filtered out to people that are using that for therapy. Because once you clean the body, if you don't address the root cause of why someone feels the way that they do, I hate when I hear someone say to me, well, how long has someone been in recovery? Someone's been in recovery 18 months. In the very beginning, when my son died, this is literally what I got. 18 months. Yeah, that's phenomenal. They're getting to that time where they're going to relapse. Oh, so you're assuming they're absolutely going to relapse. Because that's the mentality. All the time. That's what people think. Now, for years, people have done the best they could, but I met a gentleman once that really changed something for me. He sat me down, he said, Tony, I've been in jail 18 times. Most of my life I've been in prison. And I met a guy once that said to me, are you going to a meeting? And he said, yeah. He goes, do you know why you're going to the meeting? And he said, yeah, because I'm struggling. Why are you struggling? He said. Because until you find out why you're struggling, you can go to meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, until you figure out what it is that's causing you this pain and figure out a way how to self-medicate through that pain differently than drugs or alcohol, you're going to be suffering. So we hope that the music and the art is a way for someone to express themselves without actually having to say, hey, this is my problem. It's almost like a third person. This is what I drew. This is what I sketched. This is how I feel. But I can't get it out any other way. But you can see it in what I drew. You can see it in the poem that I wrote or the music that I'm playing. And help me, because everyone wants help. They just don't know how to ask for it. And the judging and the way people look. My son once said to me, I said, when I got done talking to him, that heroin took his life. But the stigma and the way he was judged killed him. That's what killed him. And we've made great stride and great progress, but we're nowhere near where we need to be. So I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I don't want to take up too much time. Thank you for listening to the video and the music. The foundation we have is called soundmindnetwork.org, and we are now partnering up with a lot of different artists that want to come on board and make a difference. So everyone that's here tonight, please give yourself a round of applause. You are the warriors. You are making it happen. You are on the street every day. I am privileged to speak, and I thank you for listening. But those are words. What you do every day are actions. God bless you all for that. Thank you. And before I leave, I know I'm not supposed to do this. I'm going to do it anyway because I always buck the system. I can't help it. My dear friend Gary is here. You don't know who Gary Hendler is? He's right there. Gary, please stand up a minute. Please. Give a round of applause to him. Gary opened up a lot of doors for me, and he gave me a forum for me to speak, for people to hear my story, which is one story of a million stories just like mine. And Gary has been doing the most incredible work. And I'm going to tell you something that I tell everyone that does what you do, and everyone in this room. If you remember anything I say tonight, please remember this. When it's time to go home, and I mean home, if whatever power there is, I don't care what your religion is, if you believe in a God or you just believe in a higher power, whatever you believe in, I may not know anything for sure, but I believe with every fiber of my being that if God would allow you to see all the lives that you have touched, you would never be able to see the end of that line, because that's what you do every day. God bless you. Thank you.
I hate to bring up statistics, but they are important. We were making a little headway, especially in Montgomery County at our last forum, which was in 2019, our last in-person one. Unfortunately, the statistics are not good. In Pennsylvania, in 2021, 5,438 Pennsylvanians overdosed, which is up 6% from 2020. That means we have an average loss of 15 Pennsylvanians per day to overdose. COVID and fentanyl together were a horrible duo, and we're feeling that pain and will be for quite some time. That's why events like this, where we embrace those struggling rather than judging them and stigmatizing them, are so important. Because I know it's only by the grace of God that it hasn't touched me and my family yet. And I say yet because I'm not going to jinx it. We all know that it could happen in any family, in any affluent family, in any poor family, in any middle-class family. And I don't care how ethical or moral principled you are, it could happen to you. And that's why we need you to be here and learn, so that if one of your loved ones comes to you or someone in the community comes to you, you'll know what to say. And we're going to have some practical question and answers right after this next presentation, so I hope you'll stay because I think it's really important. Lynn and Hope will be here to share their expertise over many years in this industry. All right, so here comes our fun award. And I met Gary Hendler during the infancy of DARA back in 2016, I believe, when he called and asked to meet me at my court. And I had no idea who he was. But we are both from Delco, so we had a great start and we hit it off right away. But most importantly, and yes, I love you, Delco guy. That's all I'll say. Anyway, Gary immediately lent his support and encouragement to me. He advised me using his clear understanding of this pandemic and inspired me to stay the course in this unique and uncharted initiative called DARA. I had no idea what I was doing in the beginning. Sometimes I still don't think I know what I'm doing, but he encouraged me to stay with it, and that I was doing the right thing. I'm extremely grateful to this man. I'm proud to call him my friend and mentor, and I thank God for the day that we met. And I continue to be blessed by having you with me. And just to give you a little background, Gary Hendler has been to hell and back, and he's here to tell the tale. A Philadelphia native, Gary's been successful in recovery from a drug and alcohol addiction for 40 years, and we just celebrated that milestone at a party for him this past summer. Having spent most of his teenage and young adult years in the music industry in Philadelphia, Gary grew up in the fast lane and paid a very heavy price for it by living a life of substance abuse before getting clean and sober in 1982. He was convicted of various crimes, but now he focuses his life on helping others recover from addiction. His desire to help others led to creating and co-hosting the weekly Clean and Sober radio show that I love being on. And when I'm really lucky, I get to co-host when Mark's not around. That's on WWDB-AM in Philadelphia, and it's in 4 Florida radio stations and 1 in Las Vegas. The show has enabled him to mentor countless individuals on their journey to sobriety. Carey was appointed to by Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf to serve as a board member on the Pennsylvania Department of Drugs and Alcohol Advisory Council. He currently sits on the Pennsylvania Recovery Organization Alliance Board, on the DARA board, and he's an advisor to the Secretary of the Pennsylvania Department of Drugs and Alcohol. In 2021, former President Trump granted a full pardon to Gary Evan Hendler. He was the only person in Pennsylvania granted a pardon, and no one deserved it more. I told him at his 40 years of sobriety party that I had a very special present for him in recognition of our friendship and his commitment to the recovery world. So I am proud to introduce the inaugural recipient of the Gary Hendler Commitment to Recovery Award to Gary Hendler, my dear friend.
Wow. Here's what it looks like. Oh, it's the other side? Oh, no. You stick to the courtroom, Judge, right?
Don't let it drop.
I won't.
Crystal.
I won't. My name is Gary Hendler. I'm in recovery from drugs and alcohol for 40 years. And my recovery date is May the 4th, 1982. And don't try to guess my age. I can tell you this. My parents took me to rehab when I was in 2nd grade. Actually, they should have taken me to rehab in 2nd grade. You know, I hear all these nice things, you know, Tony and Andrea said about me. People never used to say nice things about me, because I was just looking to hustle you and get what I could get from you. And, you know, Tony, the first time you were on my show, you had said this: don't hate the person, hate the disease. That has stuck with me the whole time, which is true. I'm very fortunate. Judge Duffy alluded to some of my past. I had a pretty expensive, but extensive crime spree while I was addicted. Armed robbery, prescription forgeries, anything you can think of. So to hear somebody say things nice about me is really cool. And you know, when we were in our addiction, people didn't respect us. They thought we were, you know, a waste. And again, don't hate the person, hate the disease. I've been very fortunate in recovery. A lot of things have come my way. I have a beautiful family. My wife Marjorie is sitting right there. I don't want to list all my friends that are sitting down here, but every single one of them is special. You know, I don't want to list anybody, because then somebody's going to say, well, you didn't say me. So, you know, you all know who you are. I was fortunate enough, you know, at an early time when I got into recovery, to understand that it was most important to give back. So 10 years ago, I was given the opportunity to start a radio show in Philadelphia called Clean and Sober Radio. My co-host Mark Sickman is sitting right here, and he comes every single time to the show, and he puts up with me because, you know, sometimes I get a little cranky, but Mark's good. So anyway, I give back. You know, I know it's the first thing is you get clean, then you get sober, and then you got to give back. And that's the cycle. So I'm so fortunate that I have been able to, that I have a platform that Mark and I have, that we reach, I don't know how many people a week, tens of thousands, And, you know, just like you said, Tony, if Mark and I saved one life, the whole show's worth it. So we're very fortunate. I am incredibly fortunate to have Judge Andrea Duffy as my friend. You know, when I met her and became close to her, I said to her, Judge, we're so close. We're, you know, from Delco. I said, I bet I could really hurt somebody pretty badly and you'd give me probation. Actually, what I said was, I think I could shoot somebody. I was kidding. And you'd give me probation. And Andrea said to me, not a good idea. So, look, it's also fun to be able to laugh in recovery and have fun. This is a serious subject. Our show is serious, but we also have fun doing it. So I want to thank everybody who's been in my life during the past 40 years and has guided me and helped me. And I'm one lucky guy. Thank you very, very much.
Well, we look forward to a very long future with Gary Hendler as part of DARA, helping us and guiding us and supporting us. And right now, I'm going to have Hope and Lynn come up here. We have some questions for them, but we're also very, very willing to take some questions from the audience. And after we conclude with that, we have our Narcan training and distribution by John Becker. I just made you a judge. What do you know? All right, so I know I have a few questions for them because I'm going to put them on the hook here. And but first of all, does anyone have any questions? You have a chance to ask the experts who I rely on every day. Otherwise, we'll go to my questions. But anybody have a good question for the recovery specialist? And there's so many here. But is there anybody who would like to ask something?
He's got
and Gary's got a question.
When somebody goes in front of the judge and she gives them a choice, either Montgomery County Prison or a bed, do you guys have beds lined up? How fast can you get somebody a bed? Because timing is everything once somebody thinks about getting clean.
So I can get a bed within 3 hours, top. It depends on the insurance. It depends on how they're willing to go. You know, I need transportation, I need this. Oh, I gotta make sure my cat has a place to go, my dog, my job. So usually they dictate the time. If they don't have any insurance, they have to go to the DINSIA or assessment sites like Creative Health and get assessed and get insurance that way, because we don't deal with insurance. If they go to jail, the jail gets insurance. And if they go to jail, they end up coming to me, usually anyway.
I don't know, can everyone hear her? She's so...
I'm so soft-spoken.
She's so soft-spoken, yeah. Yeah, and we depend on Gary Chesney from Montgomery County Correctional Facility. He's not here tonight. We have definitely honored him in the past, but it's this community... I don't want to yell. It's this community mentality, and that's what sets DARA apart. We have people from probation. We have people at the prison. We all work together, and it's the only way it works. So we encourage everyone to become a part of our team. All right, then I have some questions for you myself, okay? All right.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. What determines which facility is appropriate for a person to go for treatment?
I'll let you do that.
So we depend on our community partners. A lot of them that are in this room right now. We know which facilities treat which type of patient. We know which ones are primary substance use with secondary mental health co-occurring abilities. We want to make sure that we're referring a client to the appropriate facility. So what we do is we vet each facility. We make sure that their clinical is solid, and also that the insurance that the client has is good to go. We don't want any surprises. We want our partners to be as transparent as possible when it comes with the insurance. We want quick transportation, and we want, our clients to feel comfortable. So what we usually do is we vet them, and then we give the client a couple decisions. And then they let us know, and then we contact our people from those facilities, and they're the ones that make the magic happen. They're the ones that send in the benefits. They're the ones that, set up the admissions call for the screening, and they set up the transportation. We can get somebody in within, honest to God, a couple of hours. It's usually the client that's having them hauling. I gotta do this, okay, I gotta go do something first. It's like, no, let's go, like you're ready. So if somebody's saying that, there's no beds, there's always a bed available. Don't let anyone tell you there's no beds. There's 81 facilities in Pennsylvania, over that actually, way over that. You have commercial, you have county funded, you have Medicaid, people underinsured, non-insured, there's beds. So I would just say, we really try to do individualized treatment with the client and find out what's best for them. So that's it.
And honestly, the four main obstacles that we encountered before I even met these wonderful ladies was that. Where do I get my assessment? How do I find an inpatient facility? Are there any open? Because everyone's told that same fallacy. There are no beds available right now. That is nonsense, okay? Insurance, not everybody has insurance, but we'll find a way around it. We really will. If you want the way, we'll find the way. And transportation, we've even linked that. We now have all our participating facilities all providing transportation, even from the prison. Now, a couple times we've had some people jump, but
Yes,
from the transport van.
Don't stop the van.
But we'll deal with those people. And I even give them another chance. After the jumpers, we call them. Yeah, they've been given a couple chances. We know one in particular who's on his third chance. But anyway, so don't listen to people who say that it's going to take forever, or there's a long waiting list, or there's a lot of red tape. There doesn't have to be. And if there's anything that I hope, I get emotional now, that DARA has proven is that there's always hope, and it always can happen. You just have to will it, and we'll get you there. So I do encourage you to use that email, darasaveslives@gmail.com, and we will give you that hope. We will give you that treatment. So don't listen to anybody else who tells you about long waiting times. It's nonsense. The only other thing I wanted to ask was just what's the difference between difference between treatment and 12-step meetings? How can you determine who's better for what?
Okay, so treatment 12 steps is completely different. Treatment is with a professional, therapist, licensed usually, and they are helping you process your feelings, your thoughts, knowing where they're coming from, your defense mechanisms, like how you communicate, and you get feedback. You get feedback from other clients, you get feedback from a professional, where 12 steps is a support group. It's a support, you don't get feedback. What ends up happening is you share, other people share. It can be on the 12 steps, one step meeting. It can be a speaker discussion meeting. There's different types of meetings. So we encourage people to do both, especially early in recovery. It is important to have that support and know, I think you said it, Tony, like what's going on? Why are you self-medicating and finding out the deeper issues? Like what happened in your childhood that you're so upset about and angry about? Where's this trauma coming from? Why do you continue to get in bad relationships? Where's this? So that is all processed and can be processed in individual therapy as well as in groups.
So the way that I look at it is detox is the first level of care. So they're going in there to get medically and safely detox from all the drugs that they've been using, the alcohol. There's not a lot that goes on during detox because they're not feeling well. So once they're done that within 3 to 8 days, depending on the severity of their addiction, then they move into the rehab level of stay. That's where the work starts. So that's where you have your group sessions, your one-on-ones, stuff like that. The therapists are teaching them real life techniques to take back into the world, into their sobriety, into their recovery. So I look at rehab as like a controlled practice arena when they start having these tools. The biggest part of recovery and the most important part in my view is the aftercare. Your partial hospitalization level of care, your IOP or your outpatient. That's where you're going to do your sessions, your group therapies, and you're going to continue the work that you started in rehab. But when you should not do one or the other, you should really do both, like the 12 steps, the AA, the NA. The AA, NA is going to be your community. It's going to be your people. It's going to be the people you go out to do your sober activities. You're going to learn how to live life sober, and they're going to be your people. So, you know, you don't want to go into an AA and like dump your whole story, because that's for your therapist, you know what I mean? But you're learning how to live sober, you're learning how to live again, and those people are going to be your people. So there is a difference.
Okay, so while we have John Becker come up and get ready for our Narcan training, I just want to say thank you so much to those people with DARA lanyards, to those people with DARA t-shirts, Mark, my children, Heather, Bobby, and to the wonderful Bob Varga from the YMCA, who constantly gives us his support, and the rest of the team at Y. We hope to be having a long relationship with the YMCA. And I also want to thank my children, Connor, Alexa, Ryan, and Sean. Thank you for lending me to DARA. Such hands back there. Thanks for letting me take all the time with my 5th child, DARA, because it is a time-consuming, but they know how much it fulfills me. So I'm going to hand over Narcan training to the wonderful John Becker.